I switched a little early, but that's fine. We can live with that. Hi, hello everyone, and welcome to another stream. I hope you guys are doing well. I'm doing just fine. I was not ready to switch over. I accidentally pressed it. And I'm just gonna sit here and do that. Do my thing real quick. Hope you guys are doing well today. I I look a little rough because I have been cleaning all morning. I only just sat down about 30 minutes ago to eat some food, some breakfast slash lunch now that I had delivered. Some pancakes and stuff from AHOP. And when I sat down, when I finally was able to like re-enter my room because I mopped, I sat down to about 20 messages on Discord, all telling me about you know, suddenly patch notes. Here we go. Oh my gosh, it's really funny. I was looking forward to sitting down and like doing other things. um, which is why this is going to be a short stream, maybe an hour, while I just finish writing or reading the patch notes. I personally would have read them yesterday tomorrow. However, I have the degens read them right away. And by degens I mean Nilly. I will call Nilly out. Nilly read them first. Nilly was just like, Matt asked in the group chat, like, should we read these tomorrow? And Nilly was like, no, I've already read them. I was like, damn. So I will read them now. Small red triangle. Can I edit on Hive? Oh, I can. Let's go. Get rid of small triangle. And we'll find a triangle here. There it is. There's my small triangle. All right, update. There we go. We got it. We got it. We got it. We got it. Okay. I'm trying to get into the habit of posting over on Hive. If you don't follow me on Hive, what is it? Official Hive app? Hold on. I could look it up myself. It's just called Hive. Maybe it's called something else on the Play Store or Apple Store, wherever you get your apps from. But I also try to post over there, especially with like as volatile as things have gone on over on Twitter. But yeah, man, hi, hello, yes, I am here. We're here. We're here for the hour. We're reading patch notes. To give you guys a concept of how long these are, there you go. That's how long they are. Hopefully the lighting is okay. I never stream with natural lighting, because I always stream in the evenings. So, and also, like I said, I spent all morning cleaning. Like my PC, spotless. There is not a speck of dirt inside the thing, except inside like the little crevasses of stuff, because I didn't like change thermal paste or anything like that. I probably should. I really need to reseat my graphics card also, but like it's fine. But I cleaned everything, and I threw away a bunch of stuff that just like, do you guys do that where you just leave so much stuff on like surfaces with like the intention of, oh, there's a little bit more left in that, or there's a little bit more here. I'll use that up, or I'll use this for some reason or other. I do that a lot. I'm like really bad at throwing away things, even though I know for a fact I'm never gonna like use it again or like eat it again. Um, for whatever reason. And so I spent the morning just doing that. And also I had like my space heater in here and it's like 80 degrees right now. I have like every fan on in my room. So we're good. We have I'm hoping this will only take an hour because, like I said, I do have things to do. I still need to prepare for stream tomorrow. So, starting off, Destiny 2 update 7001 activities. Starting off with Crucible, spicy. Gotta let the Crucible boys know that there's changes coming. Added an exotic arm swap penalty to trial level Cyrus. We already knew that. And competitive division. Equipping a different piece of exotic armor drains all ability energy in these modes. Competitive division fixed a bug that caused the competitive intro quest to auto claim the completion reward. Rewards are now claimed upon interacting with Shax. Okay, that's a good change. Yeah, that's a good change. Competitive Rift and Showdown have reduced revive delay to Competitive Rift and Showdown have reduced revive delay time. I hate that Bungie does this. Bungie always does this and I hate it. They always put the new time first and the old time second. So here we have, it's now 1.5 seconds and it used to be 2 seconds. However, I'm used to reading the thing that was originally, the original time or whatever amount and the new amount second. I hate that they do that. Reduce respawn time to 5.5 seconds from 7 seconds. Like, why would you? Anyways, Vanguard Ops. We don't have time for my issues. Picks. Let me make this a little bit bigger. Oh. So we can all enjoy this. Oh, why would you send me all the way to the bottom? We started from the bottom. Now we here. Vanguard Ops. Fix an issue in battle in a heist battlegrounds. Europa, where heavy ammo crate could respawn for players who get quarantined into the boss fight arena. Oh, I didn't think that was a bad issue. I guess if they're turning it into like a Nightfall, I guess I understand. When you play Vanguard Ops or Nightfall, your final score determines a reputation multiplier for that activity's completion. Multipliers run from 1 under about 30,000 points to 7 above 250,000 points. We also tuned the amount of Vanguard rank you receive for completions. Okay, Nightfall quality and streaks. Okay, hopefully it's more rather than less. Full pass on all Vanguard map and mode multipliers with an eye towards balancing score per hour rather than score per attempt. I need to see what that means. Because at first glance, that feels like a bad thing, but who knows? Who knows? I don't. I'm not the expert here. Vanguard and Nightfall strikes added on screen health bars for bosses previously missing them. Oh, that's good. I like that. Fix an issue where player could be given the same objective twice in quick succession in Devil's Lair Strike? I wonder where that is. I wonder where that bug is. The Vanguard Ops playlist has increased difficulty. Players can no longer level beyond the enemy combatants. I think this is a great change. I really like I really don't like running over encounters, especially encounters that I have to do constantly. Like if it's on planet, I'm doing a mission that's not like a story mission or something that's not legendary campaign or like a normal law sector. Like all of those things I, expect to be able to kind of like run over enemies. But in the playlist I have to do over and over and over again, or I'm expected to, it gets boring for me personally. It gets boring to just run over mobs over and over again because like you can't really test out your builds that well. for content in the rest of the game. So personally, I think it's a great change. The playlist difficulty now is like you can't go above the enemy. You'll always like at least be on par. Additional rotating modifiers have been added. Oh, additional rotating modifiers have been added to the Vanguard Ops playlist. All right, we'll see those. We'll see those. Difficulty options, hero, legend, and master difficulties have been reworked for greater challenge and to accommodate new modifiers. Adept difficulty has been removed. RIP, never forget adept difficulty. Though to be honest with you, I do like the names hero, legend, and master a little bit better. I don't like master for obvious reasons that much, but I do like hero and legend. I think they could change master to a different name. Hero activity level is now softcap plus 20. Okay, that's not bad. A softcast plus 20. Which is good because they always were like 1350. Like last season, everything was always 1350, and that's always a bad thing. That was again attributed to, oh, this is like really easy, and then you go to the next rank and it's like, ooh. Um Legend is power cap plus 30. Okay, so to explain soft cap, soft cap is where when you hit that limit, that is where blues stop leveling you up. So any blue drops you get, that means you're still in soft cap. As soon as blues stop leveling you up, um, or like they plateau at a certain level, that is the end of soft cap, and then you enter into power cap. Power cap is where you need, where it becomes a little bit more difficult to level. It's where you really rely on um, legendary engrams and como se dice, uh, powerful engrams from different vendors and activities. That's where you get that. And above power cap is pinnacle level. That's that extra like plus 10 you get on top, where you have to get pinnacle draw engrams and stuff like that. And then master, and then so soft cap plus 20 is like, it means you've played the game. You've played the game past get only getting blues, and now you know you're getting all these legendaries that kind of like bulk you up. And power cap plus 30 means probably that is um plus 30. It depends what the max is, but it's probably going to be it's like a challenge but not too challenging. And master is power cap plus 40, which is a little bit more challenging. That is like right below grandmaster right now. I think it's 10 below grandmaster. So you know, that gives you an idea. Each has a scaling combat delta that keeps you under level in the activity and provides a smoother pathway to Grandmaster, which I agree with because Grandmaster, like I said, like you really went like in an exponential curve in difficulty, and now I think it'll be easier to understand what to expect because whenever you Sherpa someone through a Grandmaster, you can explain as much as you want to them how difficult the content is, but because nothing really in the game is like that, um, you're never really gonna understand how that difficult that is until you know you get there. So, also let me know if my mic sounds fine. I did move. I obviously unplugged and replugged a bunch of things in, and I don't always remember if I'm supposed to plug in my audio interface into a 3.0 or like a regular 2.0 USB port. So just let me know. Um, Most Hero Legend Grandmaster activities now feature the ability to use overcharge weapons for increased damage. Which weapons are overcharged are determined by your seasonal artifact unlocks and activity modifiers. It's funny that they didn't explain what that means early. Elemental cinches and burns have been replaced and broken out into on. Hold on, I need to lower Spotify a little bit. There we go. Now I'm good. Hopefully you guys can still hear it. Element Elemental singes and burns have been replaced and broken out into incoming and outgoing components, threats, and surges. Damage bonuses for surges and overcharges do not stack. Okay, so you either get surge bonus or overcharge bonus, and I'm assuming you always get the one that's the higher value. Although I think both surges and overcharges are plus 15, plus 20. Vulnerable changes and burns have been replaced. Okay, interesting. Okay. Raids and dungeons. Armor pieces from master difficulty, grasp of avarice, duality, inspire the watcher drop with higher stats. That's artificer armor. um, I wonder if that means like they're just not saying it's artificer armor. And that's why you get higher stats because you now get a +3 on any armor that was artificer armor. Artifice armor, sorry. Or if like you are actually gonna get even higher stats from running master difficulty stuff. Because right now, underwhelming to say the least. UI UX Lightfall title screen. The title screen has received a visual and audio update for Lightfall. That's already out there with the accidental preload drop on PlayStation 4, I think, yesterday. That's all over the place. So if you haven't seen or heard it and you want to, you can't wait the 18 hours or whatever long, the 23, 22 hours until Lightfall. Feel free to, everyone has it. All the cloud chasers already have it out there. Guardian ranks UI throughout Destiny 2 has been updated to display players' Guardian rank instead of your season pass rank, which is a really good change. I am gonna miss seeing the obscenely large numbers of people who have just been grinding the game nonstop all season. But this is good because that means this is a continuous number now, as opposed to a number that keeps getting reset to 0 and giving you like an unnecessary bias of uh, like a player ability. um or because before it was like something different. Orbit screen added a button to directly access the journey tab. Journey tab. I like that. I really like that. Triumph tab is now the journey tab. When building Guardian ranks feature, the team leaned into the opportunity to refresh and relabel the Triumphs tab to better encapsulate the player's journey throughout Destiny 2. Let's go. Many of the changes will be immediately visible, but some are more subtle, including an access point to view details about the commendations you have sent and received. Oh, and an additional access point for seasonal challenges. Okay, so there's 2 places to see your seasonal challenges now. Makes sense. Seals are no longer broken into 2 categories, seals and titles. They are just titles. Seals are broken up between seals and titles? What? Like you had to click on the seal and then you had to click on the title. Now it always is that seal. Is that what they mean there? Hello, Thumping Cart. I hope you're having a good day. Hope you're doing well. Good time of day wherever you may be. Additionally, to focus information shown at the top level, both triumphs and titles have been migrated to bespoke subscreens. The focus information shown at the top level, both triumphs have been mitigated subscreens. Okay, that makes sense. I'm okay with that. Added the ability to equip unequipped titles from the subscreen rather than going into detail screen. That's a beautiful change. I appreciate that change. Thank you very much. It's not a big thing. It wasn't very annoying. It wasn't. I wouldn't even consider it annoying. It was just just more steps to do a thing. I didn't ever want to like. I rarely want to see the details of how I got a seal. I usually just want to go in and hit the title when I change titles. Okay, I like that. That's a good change. You're doing good. That's good to hear. That's very good to hear. Commendations. Commendations may be sent and received near the end of most activities. Okay. Accessibility in all locations where commendations may be viewed or given, the player's colorblind preferences are respected. This includes VFX in the post-game carnage report. Oh, I like that. That's good. That's good. That's a good change. Oh my god. Are we finally getting information about how much damage we did at the end of a raid encounter? or a dungeon encounter, or any encounter where you're doing damage to a boss, and you never know unless you wipe. Post-game Carnage Report, PGCR. Updated the PGCR to complement the new commendations feature and updated some features. The PGCR now consists of 2 tabs, the commendation screen and the scoreboard. The reputation wheel has been simplified and is displayed on the top right of the scoreboard page. What was the it doesn't matter. The player can now access the PGCR during the mission and countdown by pressing a button to open the nav mode. Holding it down will still take you to the director. Okay, whatever. A trade-off for this functionality is that when the mission end countdown is active, the nav mode cannot be opened. Pressing a button to open nav mode will open PGCR instead. Okay. You didn't tell me what that meant. I'm just hoping. You know, when they said scoreboard, I'm just hoping, you know what? We're going to take it. We're going to take it. Scoreboard usually means we're getting damage numbers. I'm crossing our fingers we're getting damage numbers. Today we're just reading the patch notes. It's going to be a short stream. We're just reading patch notes. I would have read it yesterday before Lightfall dropped. But my other fire team members already read it. I was cleaning before we made the vote to read them or not read them. And therefore now I am going to read them on stream because I wanted to do it with you guys because I know there's a lot of changes coming and I've made a lot of jokes about this being a book in length. We're only reading this because I still have a lot of stuff to do for Lightfall and things to do for other things that aren't Destiny related. So, including cleaning, which I just did, which is why I'm looking a little rough, because I did just clean, like deep clean the room. So, like my desk is pretty spotless, my PC spotless. Like it just I cleaned the vents, I cleaned parts of my ceiling. Like we out here, we're doing stuff. But yes, moving on forward. Hold on. My this thing. What is this thing called? My headphone cable got stuck under my armrest. You know when that happens? Does that happen to you guys? And it just like yanks me down when cuz I can't sit still, so I'm always moving side to side. So it just kept going like yanking me down. Anyways, ritual rank tooltips. Updated rank tooltips. So all rank tooltips now include a streak tracker. Oh, and added a section that shows a player's total reputation points. I like that. That's a good change. That's a good change. That's a very good change. Tracking. More items can be tracked at a time. Yo! Up to 3 Guardian ranks objectives can be tracked, and up to 6 non-Guardian rank objectives can be tracked. I like that. That's good. That's a good change. Nav mode updates. A tab has been added specifically to display track Guardian ranks objectives. Okay. Tracked objectives that are not specific to Guardian ranks are grouped together. Okay. Tracking now split into multiple sections on the Journey tab. Sure. Guardian rank section specifically shows tracked. Okay, I feel like we just read that, but that's fine. Guardian ranks objectives. All currently trackable non-quest objectives are shown below the seasonal challenges access point. Okay, it's all fine with me. Now, are you finally going to allow me to choose the button to navigate in my nav mode, or am I still never going to use nav mode because I use up scroll on my I scroll up to jump in Destiny 2. It is a remnant of bunny jumping back in the day, and it's still useful in this game to just like jump really quickly when you're going through like small spaces because your character goes faster when you go brrr, you know. Are they updating voice up chat at all? We talked a little bit about it a couple of updates ago, but we haven't gotten there yet. If they have talked about it in the patch notes, I have not seen it, but they did talk about voice chat stuff a couple of articles ago. But because I never use voice chat, I didn't really pay that much attention. I'm sorry. But hopefully they go over it again here. They do have plans on doing voice chat things though. They would have dedicated a whole section in an art. I think it was just an article. I don't think it was a TWAB about it. But I haven't gotten there yet if it is in the patch notes. Let's see. We already read that. This way. Okay. Guardian ranks auto tracking is enabled by default. Okay. The goal is to immediately point players to objectives they can work to increase their guardian rank. Sure. This may be toggled on the journey screen if manual tracking is more your speed. Okay. Track seasonal challenges properly display their challenge type in its tooltip on the tracking screen. Cool. Just a lot of fun UI stuff. Collections. Some access points have migrated to the Trials tab to the Collections tab. Lore, weapon patterns, catalysts, medals, and stat trackers. Okay. Increase the number of visible, recently discovered items. That's good. I think you can only see like 4 or 5. Waypoints. Rectangles are out. Circles are in. Let's go. Guardian ranks places season pass level for Guardians. That's really funny. We saw that in the trailer that it was all circles now. Records. I want final shape. Records. In order to help call out which Guardian rank records are seasonal, a blue gradient has been added to the bottom of all seasonal records, including those on the seasonal challenge. In order to help call out which Guardian rank records are seasonal. Oh, okay. Okay, it's just, again, UI just letting you know. The ones that are a little bit blue are going to be stuff about seasonal records. Haven't been on my stream for a while? Yeah, it's been a little bit. And it's been a little bit of time. And granted, my streams are, here and there, up and down. So I totally understand when people are here and when people aren't. So I hope you've been good. Vendors. Ritual vendors in the towers of Alice, Shax, Drifter, Banshee, 44, Saladin, and Saint 14 now have help tooltips describing the core ritual and reputation. Oh, okay. As well as explaining some of the less visible features, which I appreciate because I didn't know a lot of things about Banshee when I first started. I had so many questions. I had someone like hold my hand through learning how to play Destiny, and I just asked so many questions about Banshee. Back in the gunsmith materials days. Quality of life updates and fixes. Character screen. Remove the currency displayed on the character screen. I like seeing my currency though on my character screen. I didn't even notice that wasn't on there when we saw it in the trailer. Clan. To fix an issue with Hawthorne's icon on the tower map wouldn't consistently pulse when a clan Ingram is available to claim. Never noticed. I thought it was on purpose, to be completely honest with you. My old friend was teaching me how to play years ago. Yeah. It's like, for me, it was a new person I'd never met. Like, that's how we like became friends. Although we don't talk anymore. But like I'll always have fond memories of him like walking me through Whisper and Outbreak, doing master nightfalls before grandmasters were a thing, and him explaining to me what like certain exotic weapons did and stuff like that. It was good times. Raid mechanics. I kind of miss not knowing. I kind of miss being the one that doesn't know stuff and having someone else walk me through stuff. It's, I don't know. There's like a special connection you make. I heard something fall. Sorry. It's like a special connection you make with the person who teaches you and holds your hand through it all. Granted, it's because there's no new player experience in Destiny 2 that really explains everything for you. But to be fair, it's a lot to explain. It's a lot to learn. Roster. Improve contrast between players' names and background colors on the roster. Oh, I think someone's just cutting their grass and it's interacting weirdly with the music I'm hearing. Fix an issue causing the director screen to refresh the footer UI when players in the roster change. Thank God. Holy moly. I hated that. Oh, man. Fixed. In the settings, an issue causing the settings menu to close when leaving a submenu. Thank you, Bungie. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Bungie. Because that was annoying as fuck. I haven't even finished D1. I hop on D2. I've never played D1. D1 was because it's an exclusive on console. I've just never played it. I didn't have a console to play on. And then when Destiny 2 jumped on PC, I still didn't play it. It was literally only because it was free. I heard it was free. from a gaming podcast I listened to at the time. But so it was on my radar that it was happening, but I wasn't like I was half interested in it because I was kind of looking for a game to like kind of get obsessed in. But I still like never like pulled the trigger. I never like jumped on it until I had a friend of a friend contact me because he knew I was like looking for a new game and was always like what kind of games I enjoyed. And he asked me, "Hey, do you know what Destiny 2 is?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I do. That's that new game that just went free to play, right?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm looking for a group to run a raid with." And I'm just like, "Well, I've never even played the game before." He's like, "That's fine. All you need to do is just get on and play a little bit, get some armor, and then, we'll run you through the raid. It'll be fine." And I was like, "Well," he was like, "Come on." And I was like, "Okay." And so I jump on, I download the game, I play through it, and enough to like get stuff. Then I jump in. The raid they wanted to do was Eater of Worlds. Um, that was my very first raid. It was a raid layer. We ran Eater of Worlds, and it was more or less a blind run because none of us knew what we were doing. Um, and it was a little bit of a mess, but it was a ton of fun. And then um, from there, one of the people that he brought was just like, "Hey, if you guys ever want to play this game," because at that point I hadn't really been playing with anyone. The little bit of time I had been playing, and we went from just like running a couple of like strikes and stuff like that, maybe a nightfall or two. And then they were just like, "Oh, do you know about all the secret stuff that's happening, all behind the scenes, all the extra all the things that make Destiny Destiny?" And and that's when I really got hooked. That's when, with hook line sinker. Didn't look back. 5,000 hours later, here we are. But that's my Destiny 2 journey. But I still haven't played Destiny 1. I haven't even really read or seen like the cutscenes or the gameplay of Destiny 1. I've seen a lot of mostly because like it looks like this. To me, when I'm watching content from D1, it looks like this. It looks like this is all I can see. I feel like a horse with blinders on. It looks super zoomed in. Hey, Sphinx, how you doing? Are we having a good time of day? We're just in the middle of reading some reminiscing about the olden days in Destiny and Destiny 2 and reading some patch notes. Because boy oh boy, they're a doozy and they dropped early. So we're on to armor. Armor energy type has been depreciated, which is good. Deprecated. I say depreciate. I have same difference. Deprecated. Armor now has untyped armor energy, and all mods use that untyped energy when socketed. That's a weird way to explain that, but like, I get you. Oh, cool. Yeah. Hope you're doing well. Hope you are doing well, my friend. Armor mods that were previously based on weapon archetypes are now based on weapon damage type. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so instead of it being like get pulse rifle kills to get special ammo, using up your charge with light, now it's going to be uh get kills with arc damage and get special ammo. That makes sense. Although that mod's probably gone now, but that makes sense. That's cool. Let's see. Most armor mods that are based on weapon damage type also have a harmonic version. Okay. Most armor mods that are based on weapon damage also have a harmonic version, which is discounted when the weapon's damage type matches your subclass damage. I'm a l- I'm a little confused by that, but that's just because it's a system that doesn't exist right now in Destiny 2. I'm sure it'll make total sense once I have like the mod screen in front of me and I see the cost. Um, so I get it, but I also don't get it. Armor mod costs have been generally reduced across the board. Okay, that's good. So hopefully we don't have as many 5 and 4 mods as we did before. Shout out to my neighbor who's cutting the grass. Although I don't have a neighbor. Um, so whoever they hire to cut their grass, whoever owns the house now, shout out to them for doing this at like what 2 p.m. On a Tuesday. On a Monday, not even. The combat style mod socket. What's the combat style mod socket? Has been de- deprecated and placed on all armor pieces with an extra socket for mods associated with the armor slot, helmet, gauntlets, etc. Is a combat style the last socket, like the fourth socket, where you put like your mods, um, your charge with light, well mods, etc., etc. Probably right. Charged with light and elemental wells armor mods have been merged into a single system, Armor Charge, which we know about. We've talked about it. Players using the Armor Charge system can gain up to. You guys can hear me fine, right? I'm not too quiet, not too loud, not popping. Like my mic isn't popping. Like I said, I just moved everything, so I'm always like really nervous about how I sound because I just sat down and just patch notes. I didn't have a chance to check out my audio before popping stream up. Players using an armor charge system can gain up to 3 stacks of armor charge at a time. Okay, expanded up to 6 stacks by equipping charge up mods. It's really funny. You can hear me just fine. Thank you. Okay, good. Makes me very nervous, but I'm glad. I'm happy to hear it sounds good. Picking up an orb of power grants 1 stack of armor charge. That's cool. Okay, so you get 3 for free essentially when you just equip a mod that'll use armor charge. So you get 3 for free, and then you can go up to 6 using charged up mods like stacks on stacks, charged up, supercharged, whatever they're called now. But those are the mods that they're talking about. Okay. Many mods that previously created elemental wells or granted stacks of charge with light directly have been modified to instead spawn orbs of power. We're back. You know, time is cyclical. History is cyclical. Everything just comes back. Just like pop collars have become a thing again with layers. Orbs of power back in. They're on top on top of the world, baby. Here we go. Mods that provide an ongoing benefit such as wisdom font of wisdom now grant the benefit as long as you have stacks of armor charge. These mods cause armor charge stacks to decay every 10 seconds. Interesting. So I believe Font of Might used to be 15, if I'm not wrong. 12, 15. And stacking it like gave you up to like almost 20 something seconds back in the day. So I wonder if you can still stack these or you can't. I need to get better at choosing my mods. I always tend to use the same ones outside of seasonal. Being able to save loadouts will probably help some with that. Yeah. And the fact that it's less restrictive now because there's no like there's no elements on your armor anymore, right? Like you don't have to match, arc mods with arc armor. Now there is no arc armor, there is no arc mod in that way that you have to match with your armor. Now it's just mods that you could choose to best help your build. So hopefully that helps a little bit, and also the cost going down of everything will hopefully also help with that. And the fact that everything's now armor charges instead of do I want to go a charge with light build? Do I want to go a font of or a well build? Back in the day, a Warmind build. So hopefully the fact that it's all been like condensed into its own thing hopefully will help out. And since it's a whole new system and like you still loadouts exist, hopefully it's just like it's just fun. Hopefully making loadouts is fun instead of tedious as I know a lot of people found it. Cuz like even using me using dim, I didn't save every loadout, right? Because that becomes a huge list that you can, you know, at that point what's the point, At that point just memorize all your mods. Because at the end of the day, I usually just went with like a very generic build if I had like 5 seconds to like whip something up. I'm like, all right, let me make sure I have all my stats where I want them, and then let's just try and fit in what I can where I can. So hopefully this change helps you out, Sphinx. And, everyone who feels the same way. Some redundant mods have been deprecated when their effect would overlap with existing mods effects. That's fair enough. Some armor mods, such as kickstart mods and most mods triggered by using a finisher, now make use of the armor charge system. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. We'll see how that works out. There's a lot of mods that use this sort of stuff, so I'm interested to see how they work now. I won't even try to speculate. I'll have to see them myself. Some of the functionality of elemental wells and their associated mods have been moved into subclass fragments and new fire sprites and void breach. Some of the functionality of elemental wells and associated mods have been moved into subclass fragments and their new fire sprite and void breach. So we still have wells. They just had a facelift and they're specific to subclasses now. Okay. All right. I vibe with that. Again, I have to see how it works out, but that's interesting. It's interesting. It's also interesting that they only did fire sprites and void breaches. I guess they kind of have it with ionic traces, and that's why they didn't try to do anything with arc. Although stasis, I guess stasis has, I don't know. Hi, Prax. Hope you're doing well today. We're just going over these patch notes today that they dropped. Where are we? We're right here. We have the rest of the page to go. It's my favorite storybook, patch notes. I was going to read these yesterday before Lightfall fell, but, Bungie gave us the patch notes early. They gave them to me while I was cleaning. It was a welcome surprise after the fact. I sat down, ate, and now here we are doing a quick little stream, doing a stream about this stuff. And so, okay, so we fire sprites and void breaches now. And ionic traces on arc, and I guess you technically have shards on stasis, but I don't know if everyone can create shards if you're a stasis subclass. I know hunters can, but we have like a whole fragment that gives us that. I don't know, whatever. Warbind cells have been deprecated. RIP, never forget. You served us well. You're gone the same way as Rasputin. Everyone, if you have a dog, pet your dog in honor of Rasputin, since we can't pet the dog in game anymore. Seasonal artifact. Unlocking a perk in the seasonal artifact now grants that perk directly to the character when it is relevant. You no longer need to socket an armor mod to gain an artifact perk's effect, which is kind of pog. Damn, too soon. Oh. I really like that change. I think it's a very interesting change to give us just like a perk that's always active just for the season. I wonder what that's gonna mean. Pour one out for Rasputin and Duck. If I hadn't just mopped. Let's see. I'll take a drink though. That good old H2O. Column 2 of the artifact now unlocks multiple discounted mods per node. Now unlocks multiple discounted mods per node. Isn't that what it always said? Didn't you always just, weren't you? Okay, sure, why not? Why not? It's fine. Whatever. We'll get it. We when I get my hands on it, it'll make more sense. The maximum number of unlocked perks have been reduced to 12, which is fine. Again, time, you know what it is? Cyclical. We're back down to only being able to use 12 mods. We got a whole year out of having a whole seasonal artifact open, and now we're back to 12. At least resetting your artifact is free now, which is the next thing. Resetting your selections in the seasonal artifact is now free. That's so funny. Remove the 1 second button hold down to unlock an artifact perk. A single button press now unlocks a perk. Yo, that's so cool. That's good. That's good. That's really good. That's a great change. 10 out of 10. Honestly, I like it. I like to think if we're going to keep the seasonal artifact, I think this is a good way to go about it. Artifice armor has its bonus socket converted into a socket that allows you to increase any one stat on that armor piece by +3. Adjusted the amount of damage reduction provided by resilience stat. Okay, all right, that's all we're gonna say about Artifice armor. I wonder if that's a one-time choice. I wonder if you only get a one-time choice about that +3, or if you get to like keep changing it. You know? Adjusted the amount of damage reduction provided by the resilience stat in PvE. At tier 10, damage reduction now caps at 30% as opposed to the 40% it used to be. I think 30% is still a very large number, so I think you will feel it. I think 30% was 7. I think you had to have 70 to have 30%. Like close to 30. A resilience curve was like really fucky. So I don't know it off the top of my head. And honestly, I think D2 Armor Picker is already like migrating to their new system. Since the API is down and all of that, so people can't really use it. So I can't really see where it used to be. But I think it's 7. It's between 7 and 8. You were at 30, so you're gonna feel it. So you're gonna be a little more squishy. It is what it is. And the progression of damage reduction across tiers have been smooth to give more relative value to lower tiers of resilience, which is so good. That's a great change. 10 out of 10. I hate when the numbers go like this. I hate when they do that. I hate when they do that. I'm a big fan of this. I'm a big fan of graphs that just go, whoop, equal both sides. Armor mods granting resilience have had their armor energy cost increase from 4 to 2. 4 and 2. So it used to be 3 for a +10 resilience or a major mod, and it used to be 3 1. It used to be 1 for the minor mod, which is the +5. So now it costs 4 and 2. So it's in line with what recovery is. The Iron Lord's Pride perk has been added to all Iron Banner armor sets from Season 8 to present. Oh, that's fun. Man, I bet you Iron Armor is going to be broken. Iron Armor is going to be broken at the beginning of Lightfall. I feel like that's a very easy bet to make. Exotic armor changes. Kepri's Sting. True Sight. Exotic armor changes. Wait, hold on. I wasn't expecting this. Kepri's Sting True Sight is now granted when damaging an enemy with a smoke bomb. Okay. Additionally, when you have an undetonated smoke bomb on the battlefield and have not been made invisible by a smoke bomb, you gain significantly increased melee energy generation. Okay. That's still useless in PvE, but that's fun. Art of Inmost Light. Reduced duration of the empowered ability buffs in PvE. That's just to say we have a lot of void armor on Hunter, and Kepri's Sting is just probably the most underwhelming of them, in my opinion. Heart of Inmost Light. Reduced duration of the empowered ability buffs in PvE to 5 seconds, down from 10. Okay. Reduced bonus class ability regen when empowered to +25 per stack in both PvE and PvP, down from 150 and 38 respectively. I see why people were using this model. It's exotic a lot recently. This change is intended to decrease how easy it is to get and maintain 2 times empower bonus in PvE, as well as reduce the total amount of bonus ability energy provided. The goal is for Heart of Inmost Light to remain strong in ability focused builds while giving room for other exotics to shine as well. I like that. That's good. That's a good change. Bombardiers now cause targets damaged by its explosive to become severed when used by a Strand Hunter. Oh, okay. Okay. You know who's gonna love this change? Callan. Callan, if there is one defender of Bombardiers, it is Callan. If there is no if there is no defenders of Bombardiers, that means that Callan has left this earth. It's like he loves bombardiers. He uses those guys all the time. He's a Gemini Jester bombardiers boy. So he's gonna love that. Sever is the one I think where you do either increase damage or they do decrease damage to you, one or the other. Chromatic Fire has been updated to work with Strand. Mantle Battle Harmony updated to work with Strand. Verity's Row updated to work with Strand. Winter's Helm triggers weaken burst off Strand melees. Okay. Claws of Akamara will not provide. Claws of Akamara will not provide an additional melee charge when equipped to a Strand subclass. Do you get an additional melee charge when you use Claws of Ahamkara? What? I can't look at anything because right now I know that the boys using all the API stuff are like racing to make changes now that we have this all out. So I can't go and check what they used to do. Armor that supports coloration and appearance change. Oh, okay. Armor that supports coloration and appearance change based on your currently selected subclass have been updated to support Strand. This now includes the following: 2020, 2021, and 2022 Solstice armor sets, Antaeus wards and ornaments. Antaeus wards showed you what subclass you were using, and no backup plans and ornaments. No backup plans showed you? I thought no backup plans was such a boring looking exotic. I had no idea it changed based off of your subclass. Interesting. That's neat. I like that. All right, let me take a drink of water before we get into weapon. I'm so thirsty. All right, crafting changes. Resident elements have been removed. They're out of the game. RIP, never forget. You lasted what? Less than a year. Crafting components costs have been replaced with standard currency such as glimmer and enhancement cords. I hate that. That I think is not fun. But, you know, who knows? Maybe it'll be less awful than I think it is. Deep Sight will now only manifest on weapons that have a pattern available to unlock it. I think that's great. Deep Sight has been removed on existing weapons that do not have a pattern available to unlock. I think that's great. Deep Sight attunement objective has been removed. You can immediately extract or dismantle the weapon to obtain pattern progress. Cool. I thought you always could do that, but that's fine. Crafting bug fix. To fix an issue where crafted perk cost was doubled for Kingsfall weapons, Defiance of Yasmin and Smite of Moraine. That's really funny. Defiance of Yasmin is the best PvP sniper in the game right now. And, you know, arguably probably in PvE also if snipers were meta. And Smite of Moraine, I believe, is a hand cannon. So the two PvE weapons, that's really funny. Oh, that's really funny. Updated several different weapon VFX to address miscellaneous bugs and performance issues. Yo, I can't think of one off the top of my head, but that's pretty neat. Restored the correct audio for field forged shotguns. I don't think I've shot a field forged shotgun in a while. And even if I had, I don't think I noticed. Red Reticle is now available on PC. I already use Red Reticle. What do you mean? My reticle is red. What? Linear fusion rifles reduce damage versus champions, mini bosses, and vehicles by 15%. Sleeper Simulant and the Queensbreaker are unaffected. Queenbreaker got a buff last season, so I don't know. Queenbreaker might be meta for when it comes to the linear fusion conversation. Machine guns increase damage by 10%. I don't think 10% is good enough. Increase reserve ammo by 50% at 0 inventory stat and 20 at 100 inventory stat. Here's the thing about Bungie. I love Bungie. Bungie is great. Bungie has never given us the inventory stat. That's a behind the scenes stat. So I have no idea what that is. I have no clue what that is. Oh, sure, why not? Heavy grenade launchers increase damage versus champion mini bosses, and vehicles by 20%, miners by 40%. I really just really should rephrase that. Ooh. Increased damage versus champions, and okay. I I don't know if that's gonna be good enough. Improved projectile collision, making it slightly easier to land hits. Okay. Increased blast radius by 1 meter. Okay. Parasite unaffected. R.I.P. It's fine. Parasite is still one of the best weapons in the game, hands down. Shock when it comes to damage, burst damage especially. Shotgun. Shotgun reticles now change in size proportional to the spread angle. Okay. I thought we already did that, but okay. Related note: the Legend of Acrea's hipfire reticle is now a bit more representative of its very large spread angle. Legend of Acrea sucks. I can't believe they haven't reworked that weapon. Kinetic weapons. Kinetic primary weapon damage multiplier against unshielded combatants increased from 1.05 to 1.1. Kinetic specials have had that go up to 115. And kinetic stasis weapons no longer have the 5% damage bonus versus unshielded targets. Interesting that they say kinetic slot stasis weapons. Because we know that the new like heavy glaive is a power weapon. I wonder if that suggests that we're gonna I guess this is just for like power weapons instead of like getting it in the second slot. I want to find some good shotguns. Haven't used them, but there's some good ones in the game. Honestly, Matador, Fortissimo, the Vanguard ones and the Nightfall one. Found Verdict from Vault of Glass is a very good one. Um, oh, what was the new one that just dropped? Xenoclass. Xenoclass is one of my favorites. That's just a Vanguard drop. That is like my hands down my favorite shotgun for a 1-2 punch build. It also has like a million perks on it in both slots, so you just got a lot of chance to use it. But yeah, so there's a lot of good ones for sure, for sure, for sure. So if you're looking for them, I think you're gonna have a good time. Not including the things you're gonna get in Lightfall and the New World drops. Exotics. The Queenbreaker now uses Arc 3.0 blind. Shot now chains to multiple nearby enemies, which is pretty neat. I don't think blind is that good, but it's there. Ruinous Effigy. Transmutation Sphere Slam attack now suppresses. I think that's great. I think Ruinous Effigy is going to have a very interesting position in the meta up in the upcoming season. Leviathan's Breath now applies volatile. I also think it might get changed. I think it might be a little too good. We'll find out. Leviathan's Breath now applies volatile on perfect draw impact. That's a BM. Increased damage from 396 to 442. This allows it to once again one hit kill all supers in PvP. Increased damage versus champions by 30%. It could go up by 70%, and I still probably wouldn't use it. You only have like, I don't know, I think like 8 shots in Leviathan's Breath. So like it's just not worth it, man. It like if they upped how many arrows you could use, that it would be great, but it's just not, unfortunately. I'll look into them. I've mostly been using my fusion rifle and sometimes submachine guns. Yeah, I think I'll definitely enjoy them. There's definitely a lot of fun ones out in the game. And like they're kind of in a good spot now, especially with their changes with their spread angles now. Let's see. 1,000 voices. Each explosion now applies 10 plus 5 with Emperors of Ashes Scorch stacks. Interesting. Okay. Sunshot. Explosions on kill now apply 10 plus 5 Scorch stacks. Why are we doing math here? Polaris. It's extra damage you do on Scorch stacks. Polaris Lance. Perfect Fish Shot applies 40 plus 20 Scorch stacks instead of a custom burn. These are all things that, in my opinion, should have been in the game already, but I'm glad they're there now. I think Polaris Lance is gonna shoot straight up on the list of GM weapons now because of this. And I think Sunshot is gonna go up in builds now. Although Sunshot still doesn't feel great when you're killing things. Unfortunately, maybe this will make it feel better, but I don't know. killing things in high-end endgame PvP or PvE with a hand cannon still doesn't feel great. There's so many better weapons you can kill things so much more quickly with. But we'll see. Two-tailed fox, solar rocket now applies 60 plus 30 scorch stacks instead of burn. Okay. Prometheus Lens added the incandescent perk to the catalyst. Again, something that should have been in the game already. Grand Overture. Switch the catalyst to use arc blind. What did it used to do? The Manticore added a hypefire reticle element to show current stacks of anti-grav repulsor. Oh, I like that. I've never really I've used Manticore like this much. I love SMGs. SMGs and like 600 ARs are my favorite, but Manticore just didn't appeal to me. We have so many um void SMGs. I don't feel the need to have one that's lets me fly. Tractor cannon. Fix the crash when tractor cannon was fired at a large group of stasis crystals. That's hilarious. I wonder who found that out in PvP. The fourth horseman. Fix an issue where this weapon had received an unintended 20% damage nerf. How dare they do this to my child? I knew something didn't feel right. I used this fourth horseman. I can't remember on what boss. I think it was Inspire when I was doing my solo. I used my fourth horseman and it felt like trash. It felt awful. And I didn't want to say anything. So I just took it off because I was sad because it didn't do a lot of damage. And now, I can't believe you did this to my son. That is my child. The fourth horseman. How dare you? How dare you not mention anything until right this moment? Go to your room, Bungie. Go to your room. I'm going to take my child out for ice cream. How dare they? The audacity. Thunderlord, fix an issue where this weapon's lightning strikes could hold on. No, I'm not gonna read that message in the group chat yet. There's one that's in that's one that's spoilered that has a spoiler thing on it that I haven't read yet. But we still have a lot more to read, so maybe I might get spoiled, so I won't read it now. I like the handling on Manticore. I'll probably use it as a backup when needed. It's a good gun from what I hear. Just hurting your feelings. That's what I'm saying. How dare they? To my son. My child, my baby boy, my fourth horseman. No one loves you like I love you, fourth horseman. Thunderlord, fix an issue where this weapon's lightning strikes could disrupt you or your team. What? Fix an issue where this weapon's lightning strikes could disrupt you or your teammates? What does that mean, Bungie? What do you mean it could disrupt me or my teammates? What lightning strikes? If it like hit you, if you were like shooting something right in front of you? Would those lightning strikes disrupt you? What does that do to you? Would you just take more damage? I'm so confused by this one. That's so funny. I haven't even heard of this bug. Perks. These perks have been updated to work with Strand. Osmosis. Okay, good. Because I'm going with an osmosis. I'm going in with an osmosis SMG. So I'm happy to hear that works now. Wait, what? I've never seen that happen. Damn, that's what I'm saying. God, sometimes I wish these bugs were told to us like before they were fixed, because I'd love to see what the fuck that means. Oh my gosh. Perks. These perks have been updated to work with Strand. Osmosis, Golden Tricorn. I didn't know Golden Tricorn was reliant on your subclass. Elemental Capacitor, which now gives you plus 20 airborne effectiveness, or plus 25 with the enhanced perk. Rewind Bound, rebuilt to work on non-vault glass weapons. That's fun. I have a found verdict with rewind rounds that I have been waiting, that I've just been holding on to, because rewind rounds didn't work. They just got fixed. So, Eager Edge no longer deactivates moving faster than 35 meters per second. Deactivates correctly after a single melee swing. Reduce the base lunge distance buff from 2 to 1.8. Fair enough. Reduce airborne lunge distance penalty from 25 to 20. Fair enough. The enhanced perk now increases lunge distance slightly. Back up to 2. Okay, fair enough. they were doing a lot of work in speculation. They were doing a lot of work with Eager Edge perk, which you get on swords from Dares of Eternity. They did a lot of work with it to because of Strand is such a mobility based subclass. And I feel like they changed a lot about velocity in this game and how it affects the Guardian. Um and I think that because they were reworking that, they had to change a lot of things on Eager Edge, such as not letting you move fast, not letting you use it when you were moving already pretty fast, to just infinitely go faster. So this is a good change. I'm glad because everyone uh who like to go fast really complained about this one. Blinding grenades renamed to disorienting grenades. That's good. Now let's rename blind. let's let's rename the blind debuff. But that's good. Disorienting grenades is a much better name than blinding grenades. Um, Vice Singer. This was typically a full reload when the perk was activated. Now reloads 25% in the magazine, which is what I originally thought it did. I was shocked to find out it reloaded the gun, the entire gun. So this is a good change. I like that because Vice Singer was just very strong in general. So this puts it in line and allows you to have more options in the slot instead of always having to go for Vice Singer. That's like doing that sort of nerf kind of like keeps your choices of weaponry interesting. It's good game design, MO. Zen Moment now also reduces incoming flame. Excuse me, big hiccup. The perk has been branched so that shots from different archetypes ramp up the effect more quickly. Um, Zen Moment is kind of a controller perk. Like you can have it on obviously mouse and keyboard. Zen Moment basically what it does is while you're shooting, the longer you've been shooting, the more steady your shot goes. So instead of like being going like that, it goes like that and then, it kind of zeroes in as you're shooting. So you really liked it in things that you were gonna shoot a long time or had a large mag like ARs, SMGs, etc. Um, but that's kind of not really great on mouse and keyboard because you have a lot of control on like recoil direction when you're on mouse and keyboard. So typically you don't really pick it up, but on controllers and moments it's really good because it allows you to keep shooting instead of having to do like tapping the trigger to to keep like resetting your reticle back on the enemy instead of it like going out of control the longer you've been shooting. So the fact that it's branched now, so you get Zen Moment one time the reduced flinch when you're using submachine guns, ARs, and machine guns. It's interesting that they did that one for one because that's why when you would use Zen Moment, I would never use Zen Moment for a hand cannon or scout rifles unless like maybe it's an auto scout rifle. We don't really have auto hand cannons, but I guess now that you can have automatic a full auto setting on all your weapons, I guess that makes sense. I guess this is just a good change in general for people who can't like who have mobility issues and aren't able to just like keep clicking and use the full auto setting. Okay, I've been convinced. Danger Zone updated the description to include that while active, the perk also reduces self damage from the weapon. It reduces the self damage from the weapon? What? Always? Since always? That's just always been a thing? I guess that explains why I liked my Danger Zone empty vessel. I have gotten rid of it. I no longer have it because Danger Zone's kind of like, oh, but uh, that explains so much. And that explains so much. That explains a lot. That explains a lot. Because I was very confused why I couldn't shoot my gun right next to myself, and not take an insane amount of damage. I thought they just like buffed it or something or nerfed it. Anyways, Wellspring fixed an issue where this perk was not rewarding the correct amount of energy. Why are these weapons betraying us so much? That's what I'm saying. I feel like I'm learning things that I've never known before. 5,000 hours down the drain. 5,000 hours at the academy down the drain. Wellspring fixed an issue where this perk was not rewarding the correct amount of energy. That's hilarious, considering that is the one thing Wellspring is supposed to do. Now works with abilities that have multiple charges. Oh, thank God. Because it you have double commas in or double melees in um on Hunter Stasis. And Wellspring did not work on the second one. So I did not ever think twice about Wellspring ever again. Because I'm like, well, that sucks. Because there's a lot of times I use double melee. Like with Six Coyote. You get double knives with that one. Like double dodges, you know? So that's a good change. 10 out of 10. I don't own a singular Wellspring weapon, so I won't be able to test it. For abilities with multiple charges, once the ability has one full charge, it is considered charged and will divert excess energy into the other abilities while giving the charged ability the least amount. Okay. The fix for enhanced version of this trait is coming in the future patch. Oh, interesting. Don't don't get the enhanced version on your weapons, I guess. Cascade 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 Point no longer triggers off a non-precision damage against weakened target. That is the biggest nerf I've seen in this entire patch. Cascade Point no longer triggers off a non-precision damage against weakened targets. So when you weaken something, all your shots do increased damage. And typically it would be shown with a yellow number. Yellow numbers in Destiny mean crit damage. So even though you weren't getting like the full whatever multiplier, I think it's like a 2.5 or something multiplier when you hit a crit spot. Instead you were getting like a 1.5, almost 2% multiplier, 2 times multiplier. Um, it would still be considered a crit. So whenever anything required a crit, it would still proc off of weaken. And weaken is super easy to get on void classes and using other weapons, which is why certain weapons were very popular in the meta. So this is very interesting. This really ruined a build on Hunter that people really enjoyed, but they got a season out of it. Abilities. Rescale the efficacy of discipline, strength in each class ability stat on grenade, melee, and class ability regen rates. In general, tier 10 stat is roughly equivalent to tier 8 in the previous system. Okay, no, that's fine. I'm fine with that. Each increase in tier now provides more consistent benefit to the ability's cooldown reduction rather than spiking heavily at lower tiers. That is, again, I like graphs that go like this. I don't like graphs that go like this. Um, so that is very good. Hunters, supers, arc staff increase the maximum number of orbs that can be created when defeating targets from 5 to 7. Why would you change your numbering system? Bungie, have consistency when you're writing these, please. 5 to 7 instead of 7 to 5 as they usually do it. Oh, god damn. Anyways, this is how you're supposed to write it. From 5 to 7, that's a good change. Gun, that's a good change. Marksman, Deadshot, all good. Reducing time of spectral blades. I guess this is their change to roaming supers. 5 to 7, that's great. Gathering Storm, which is the arc, when you throw the arc staff and it just like stays in place and is a huge storm. Decreases the maximum. Oh, this is decrease now. Maximum orbs from 7 to 5. Silence and Squall, which is again the Hunter one. Is this just Hunter supers? Yeah, okay. I was about to say, W upset. Science and Squall now goes from 7 to 5. Blade Barrage goes to 7 to 5. Okay, that's fine. This is a buff to um roaming supers. This is the buff that they were talking about, that they're gonna let you have a few more orbs, but with everything giving you orbs, it doesn't matter. I think this might change some metas during raid damage for like day one stuff, but we'll see. Class abilities: Marksman Dodge, reduce base cooldown from 34 to 29, because you can't get orbs from a roaming super anymore. I don't know. It's something people used to do back in the day. We'll see. Class abilities: Marksman's Dodge, reduce base cooldown from 34 to 29. We're back, baby. Reduce base cooldown from 46 to 38. I wonder if they did that because now instead of hitting tier 10, you can only hear tier 8. So at the end of the day, the this scaling has moved to be stretched out. So instead of going 34 to, I think it was 18 for marksman dodge, maybe it's 16. Um from 0 to 10. Now it's going to be like if you stretched out 34 from 0 to 8. Um so it would be like 20 something seconds at the end of the day anyways. So I wonder if they're throwing it to us this way because they're changing what tier 10 is like. It's interesting that they're telling us the maximum, they're not telling us the minimum. Melees, weighted throwing knives, increased base cooldown from, oh my god. You see how it's 100 seconds? That's over a minute and a half to get your stupid knife from base cooldown from 0. Why? Throwing knives already aren't quick? Is it just because I can dodge to get it? Oh my god, I hate the dodge to get your knife back meta. I like just getting it quickly by just existing. Oh, I fucking hate that. If other people's melees don't get nerfed, I'm gonna be pissed. Weighted throwing knife has now gone up from 109 to 137 seconds. That's fucking ridiculous. Lightweight knife, increased base, because that means you can't dodge to reload. Now you have to do dodge to. I hate it. I hate it here. Lightweight knife, increased base cooldown from 90 seconds to 100 seconds. Increased base cooldown for proximity knife from 100 to 11. 111. Withering blades from 113 to 100 seconds. So right, that one went down. I believe Withering Blade is the fan blade. I hate this. I hate it. I'm angry. Titan Supers Fist of Havoc, increase the maximum number of orbs from 5 to 7. PvE damage up by 20%. We'll see. Glacial Quake increased from 5 to 6. That's all you're doing, the Glacial Quake? Man, Glacial Quake is such a terrible super. Hammer of Soul, increase the maximum number of orbs that can be created via defeating targets from 5 to 7. Reduce base cooldown to about over a minute. So again, same. This is basically the same thing they did to Spectral Blades. It's gone from, I think, a tier 5 to a tier 4 now. Super in time. Burning Maul changed to orbs. Increase in Sentinel. Thunder Crash decreased. Reduce the fly time by 0.5 seconds. Reduce size of damaging volume around the player and push it further forward in front of the player to make drive-by disintegrations more intentional. Now, if you guys have never played PvP and been killed by a Thunder Crash just flying by you, basically you could exist over here, and the Thunder Crash could be coming in from over here, and it would just be flying by and it would still kill you over here. You could not get away from someone who is flying by you with Thunder Crash. So they just had them like fly next to you and you'd get it. So now you have to actually like go in to you now. So you can't just like suddenly see, oh, there's somebody next to me and just like make a beeline that way and still hit them. Now you have to hit them first, see them first, go for it, and then go, which I like. That's a good change. I'm sure people who run Thundercrash aren't gonna like that, but I love that change. I hate when I can't get away from a Titan super because they're too close to me. I hate that because every one of my supers takes time to activate, and people get away from me very quickly. Reduce detonation size versus players by 20%, unchanged versus PvE content. Fine. Downward vertical influence now begins earlier in flight. Okay. That just means you start going down. So you jump up, you go shoom, and now you start going down faster than you used to before. Ward of Dawn, which is bubble. Hey, Millie, it's just to read this because somebody, I won't name names, somebody decided to read this right now instead of waiting tomorrow to read them. So I'm going to be reading this now on stream before I go back and do things for stream tomorrow. Hi, Millie. Hope you're doing well. I'm not naming any names. I'm not saying a damn thing. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying. And I wanted to read them on stream, so here we are. Ward of Dawn, ward maximum health. Have good food. I hope grocery shopping went well. Ward maximum health is down from 13,500, which let me tell you what a ridiculous number that is. I am 100% team. You should be able to break down Ward of Dawn. If everyone on your team, or even just like a couple of you, are dedicated to shooting that thing down the entire time it is up, you should be able to break it. The fact that the entire team can be shooting at it with primaries and it will not die is a ridiculous concept. It is ridiculous. You should be able to throw like a super or a heavy weapon or two at it and it should break. 8,000 I think is still too much. I think it should go down to 6,000. But 8,000 is is getting there. I was reading the silly Twitter thread, so I was gonna get all of it eventually. Oh yeah, all of this. How long did it take you to read it? Rescale PvE combatant damage versus the ward to compensate in general. Ward of Dawn's effective HP against PvE combatants should not be meaningfully changed. All right, that's good. Standardize the damage dealt by each type of kinetic and energy weapon against the ward. Previously, energy weapons did 2 times damage to Ward of Dawn. Kinetics did 1. Now, regardless of damage, you do 1.5 damage to ward. I need you to understand. I need you to look at me. Just look at me. They're basically 8,000 damage on ward is 13,500 when you can only do 1 times damage to it. So thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Armor of Light has been updated to reduce the potency in PvP. Maximum health reduced from 425 to 300. That means you can headshot people in there now and kill them with special ammo, which is very good because if you're going to go in there, you might as well be able to kill them. Now inherent Void Overshields 50% PvE damage resistance to compensate. Why do you do that? Why do you do that? No longer negates precision damage. That's the thing that really helps that one out the most, is that there's no more precision damage. That you can no scope someone. That's why they would live. That's why you need like a whole squad in there or a super to bring down people inside of Ward of Dawn. Ward of Dawn, I think, is still a little out of place in PvP, so I'm looking forward to more changes here in the future. Melee's Ballistic Slam now suppresses the attacking player's base melee for 0.9 seconds after landing, so a follow-up melee cannot be performed until player returns to the first person. What? Now suppresses the attacking player's base melee for 0.9 after landing. So a follow-up melee cannot be performed until the player returns to first person. Oh, the player being you, not the person you're attacking. Okay, that makes sense. That checks out. That's good. Ballistic Slam is I think Ballistic Slam is the one where you slam down as an Arc Titan. I think that's that one. It's either, oh man, is Ballistic Slam that one or is that one Seismic Strike? I can't remember. I have to imagine it's the arc one though, because the arc one is very good in PvP. Increase base cooldown from 90 to 100. Okay, good. Everything but shield toss got a nerf. Um, good. Everyone's getting fucked with their melees. Good. It is. It's slam into roam. Yeah. So that's good. That's a very good change to ballistic slam. It's too strong right now. All right. Yeah. Have a good one, Prax. Thanks for stopping by. I hope you have a good one. So all Titan supers except, or Titan melees except shield toss are nerfed by 10, approximately 10 seconds. In shield toss is buffed by 10 seconds. Aspects knockout reduce basic melee damage bonus versus players from 60 to 50. Sure, why not? Reduce full body melee damage versus players from 25 to 20. Okay, that's good. Warlock, Super, Storm Trance, increase the number of orbs. Okay, so Storm Trance, Nova Warp, Winter's Wrath, and Daybreak are all getting a buff to orbs. Daybreak is also getting additionally throw cost reduced from 10 to 6.5 per string. So you should be able to get 2 more swings in than you were before. If you don't use your super to move. Increase damage versus PvE combatants by 25%. Same, Sphinx. It's only when people make me play my Titan that I play my Titan. I'm the same with my Warlock, though. I never play with my Warlock. They just kind of sit there. I just don't have a great desire to play them. They're fine. They're just not really my vibe. Increase damage versus PvE combatants by 25%. I don't think that's enough. I think it should have been at least 30. Daybreak and PvE is kind of trash, but maybe 25 will be enough. Reduce base cooldown time by about a minute. Again, another roaming super that just got buffed in time. It's in line with Spectral and Hammers. Chaos Reach decreased the maximum orbs, and Nova Bomb has decreased. I think that's good. I hate that Nova Bomb gave you so many orbs for just doing nothing. Chaos Reach I was kind of more okay with because you actually had to like do something. That was a fun super. I think Nova Bomb is a boring super. I'm gonna take a quick drink of water real quick. I too have a Titan that just sits there and also a Warlock. They just kind of hang out. Class abilities: Phoenix Dive. Reduce base cooldown from 82 to 55. While Daybreak is active, Phoenix Dive's cooldown is significantly reduced, allowing for rapid reactivations. While Daybreak is active, Phoenix Dive's detonation damage increases from 40 to 80 to 100 to 220. Restoration duration when activated while heat rise. During. Oh my god. Restoration duration when activated while heat rises is active. Increase from 1 second to 3 seconds. No one uses Phoenix Dive, so I'm interested how this will go. I think this is a gross overbuff of Phoenix Dive, but I think this is to get people to play Daybreak again. And use Phoenix Dive, and that's what it's gonna get people to do. I think this is wholly unnecessary. That was unnecessary, and I'm upset that they added this on there. I was okay with everything up until this one. Actually, I wasn't okay with it. I wasn't happy about it because 220 damage is um all your health. I think you have 240 if you have 10 resilience. So I'm not happy about it. Melee Celestial Fire. I don't like that only Celestial Fire got a nerf. And Incinerator Snap and Penumbral Blast got a buff. Incinerator Snap, a significant buff. Like, I know that's only 7 seconds, but like 7 seconds at base cooldown means a lot in the future. I don't remember. It's Penumbral Blast, the Warlock Void one, the one that pops out of their hands. Because that one's really good too. I don't know how I feel about that one getting buffed. We'll see. I'm just thinking about this in PvP. In PvE, it's whatever. um, there's enough things you can do to get your abilities up to like instant with all Warlock builds, so I'm not very concerned about it in PvE. Aspects, heat rises, split the airborne effectiveness bonus previously granted by consuming your grenade between passive and active benefit. Previously granted 70 airborne effectiveness when heat rises was active after consuming a grenade. Now grants 20 airborne effectiveness passively while heat rises is equipped, and an additional 50 airborne effectiveness while heat rises is active for the same total. So you still get the 70% or the 70 airborne effectiveness when you're actually floating and using heat rises, right? It just means that you're getting a buff now to heat whenever you just own heat rises. You will always have more, right? Is that what that is? Like you're just getting a general passive 20 airborne effectiveness buff when you have heat rises on your character chosen. When you actually choose to use heat rises to actually rise due to the heat, you get an extra 50 airborne effectiveness while you're floating. So you still have 70 airborne effectiveness, and they're only buffing heat rises. Why would they change that? Why would they separate it? Heat rises is already one of the most popular things you use on Solar Warlock. Why would you change that? I can't think of why they would do that, but I guess. Um, I'll have to watch some videos on that one to see what it's like, or like what other people's opinion of that is. Grenades, arc, lightning, grenade. Ooh, okay. Lightning grenade, nerf by 31 seconds. Increase PvE damage by 20%. That's all right. That's a major nerf to lightning nade. That's crazy. Storm grenade, increase base cooldown. Honestly, I kind of wish it were lightning nade. Flex nade, reduced cooldown by 30 seconds. And pulse nade, increase PvE damage by 20 seconds. Okay. Sure, why not? I'm not fussed about that. That's fine. Solar, healing nade, nerfed by 9 seconds. Trip mine. Oh my god. Oh my god, 30 seconds? Are you kidding me? That's ridiculous. A 30-second nerf to trip mine nades? That's a direct nerf to the really fun trip mine young Akamara arm build on Hunter. That's crazy. 30 seconds? Damn. Fuck. Um, Solar Nade. Increase base cooldown from 121 to 142. That's fine. Solar Grenade is the one I think that Warlocks use for Starfire Protocol, right? Or is that a different nade? God, I'm still reeling on 30-second nerf. That's whoo. Solar Nade got a 31-second nerf, which is funny. Thermite Nade, I don't even know which one that is also nerfed, but increases the damage in PvE. Wow. Holy. Incendiary Grenade. Starfire. is fusion. Solar is sun bracers. Sun bracers. Okay. Damn. I mean, you know what? It's what you gotta do. If you want to get rid of ability spam, that's what you gotta do. That's just wow. Okay. Incendiary nade is reduced by uh I don't know, what is that? 14 seconds? Damn. Void nade. Void spike nade. Increase base cooldown by 30 seconds. That's gonna be killer in PvP. Um, a lot of people like using that one in PvP, but that's fine. Increase damage by 20%. You're still never gonna use this in PvP unless you give somebody an exotic that makes it good. Void Wall Nade. What is that? What is that? What is that? 40 47-second increase to avoid wall grenade? What? Why? I guess they're just what? That's so that's so what did void wall need do to you? What did they do to you? I don't even know. I guess it's for like void breach reasons, maybe. I don't know, man. 20-second, 20% increase to PVE damage. I don't even. I'm never using. I already never use void wall nade. Who uses void wall nade aside from PvP? I guess it was just too good in PvP. Vortex grenade increases base cooldown. Just 31 seconds for vortex nade. Oh, hey, we get a PvE damage increase. Remember when Hunter's vortex nades were like actually useful? I remember. Pepperidge Farm remembers. Magnetic grenade going from 121 to 105. That's a scatter nade reduces base cooldown time from 121 to 105. Damn. Someone was personally victimized by Void Wall Nade. I cannot believe they gave that what is that? 47-second increase or whatever. I definitely think they're experimenting with it. Yeah. I think they'd rather nerf than overbuff something. So I could see a lot of these numbers coming down in the future. Like just having a blanket 20% PvE damage buff is for like all of these, like that is just a buff they've given everything to compensate. I think really speaks to that. I think Bungie is very like weird about their numbers. Like they usually do like we've upped this by 17% or like 12%. The fact that this is all blanket 20%, I definitely think that they're experimenting with this. They're just like, I guess here, use it. You don't get anything for this. Here, 20%. You get nerfed by a minute, but like here's this. We're getting those bumps to strengthen discipline stat curve, so this might be a balance with all of those in case. I definitely don't think so, but I think this is straight up a nerf. I don't think we're compensating for any. I think we're just straight nerfing this because they're trying to drop ability spam. Because they did say that they're doing all numbers are going from tier 10 to tier 8 essentially. So everything's already going to take longer. And I think this is just going to take even longer now. Like on top of that change, they are nerfing it also. Because like 152 seconds for a void wall nade, this is personal. Personally, this person, whoever did this change, was said fuck void wall nades in particular. Honestly, fuck just void nades, honestly. Like what did vortex nade do to you? I feel like this 121 would have been fine. That buff would have been fine to it. Oh, wow, I cannot believe they did that to void nades. Anyways, um Does feel nades. Base cooldown goes from 64 seconds to 91 seconds. Good, but you see that? You see that going by? That's bye-bye 100% uptime with renewal grasp. Damn. They really said, fuck your builds. Added new elements. I mean, good for them. Added new elemental pickups to Void and Solar subclasses. Void Breach. Void Breaches are created by a selection of new and existing Void fragments and grant class ability energy on pickup. It also might be to compensate for this. The fact that you will be more easily able to pick these up now. I think those extra time that they're adding to that is to compensate for this. Fire sprites. Fire sprites are created by a suite of new and existing solar fragments and grant grenade energy on pickup. There it is. There it is on Fire Sprite. Man, fuck Void then. It gives you class ability energy on pickup. I wonder if there's like something you can do with a class ability to get like grenade up in Void that I'm not thinking of. That's crazy, man. I mean, I like the change. Like I'm all for nerf abilities. And it's just like after a year of just spamming abilities, these numbers hurt me on the inside. Why do you do this? Hoover T stares off into the middle of the distance. Fragments. Alanis Morissette starts playing. Fragments. Arc. Spark of Resistance. Increase nearby enemy count from activation to 2 to 3, which, to be completely honest with you, I thought it was already 3. Reduce linger time after you're no longer surrounded from 4 seconds to 2 seconds. That's gnarly. I've been saved a lot by Spark of Resistance because I thought it was 3 seconds and not 4. Because you can't see it on the side of your screen because we don't have enough space over there. And I don't think they fixed it for Lightfall. Spark of Instinct. New. When critically wounded, taking damage from nearby enemies emits a burst of damaging arc. That's my boy. I love that. I'm so sad that that one's going away. That's one of my favorite mods on Arc. I forget what it's called. It's the one with like the little skull on it. It's a little goofy boy. What are the chances it gets still open? My Destiny item manager. Oh, I don't have any mods activated, huh? I couldn't even show you even if I wanted to. I don't have any mods. Can I click this? Oh, I can. Let's go. Oh, let's go. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. It is Reactive Pulse, my guy, my boy. While charged with light, you take damage surrounded by combatants. You emit a burst of damaging arc energy. I like that one. It's my fave. Reactive light, yeah. So now it's what is this? What are these? Fragments. Spark of Haste, new. You have greatly increased resilience, recovery, and mobility while sprinting. That is also an arc arc mod. This is what they were talking about before. This was part of one. This was like the arc part of it. Are you arc? You are. Not Lucent Blade, not that one. It's this one. No, not that one. It's the other one. This one. No, not that one. Which one is it? Which one's the one that gives you stuff when you run? Oh, here it is. Gain damage resistance. No, it's not this one either. I thought we already had this one done. What? Am I thinking of an ability? Oh, I'm thinking of a thing that already exists. What? I'm thinking of something that already exists. Don't we already get this on Arc Hunter? Is that not a thing? I feel like I run all the time. Honestly, yeah. It's going to be insane. That with Frostius. I could have sworn I run all the time when I'm doing an amplified build. Maybe just Amplified does it in general, and now it's just doing it more. Maybe I just forgot what Amplified does. I know, I feel like it exists. I feel like I do it. I run when I'm on Arc to get my things back faster. Maybe it's on a different thing? I don't even know. Maybe it's Spark of Recharge. I'm not sure. I feel like this might be redundant, but like I can't find it, so maybe it's not. Um, but it exists now if we didn't have it already. Maybe it's on Stasis? I don't know. Solar, Ember of Tempering now creates a fire sprite on solar weapon kills while active in addition to its original effects. Okay. Ember of Combustion now creates a fire sprite on solar super defeats in addition to its original effects. Okay. Ember of Searing now creates a fire sprite when defeating scorched targets in addition to original effects. Cool. Ember of Mercy, new. When you revive an ally, you and your nearby allies gain restoration. This is also a mod. I never use this mod because I would rather have my charge with light for a different reason. Where is it? Where is it? Where are you? Where are you? No, no. Is it not this one? Charge with light. It's not Heal Thyself. It's like Guardian Pickup or something. It's a dumb name. Oh, here it is. Kindling the Flame. While charged with light, reviving a down guardian gives you a burst of healing, consuming 1 stack of charge with light. To make this larger so you guys can actually see it. Yep, it's the cross one. The 2 cross. It's that one. That's Ember of Mercy now. Ember of Resolve is solar grenade final blows heal you. You saw that one. It's the it's heal thyself. Heal thyself. Now it's Resolve. Void. Echo of Domineering now creates a void breach when defeating suppressed targets in addition to its original effects. Cool. Echo of Harvest now creates a void breach when defeating weakened targets with precision damage in addition to its original effects. I wonder if this is affected by the same thing that Cascade Points is now affected by. I wonder if you actually have to hit it in the head for precision damage instead of what you were just able to do before. Echo of Starvation now grants Devour on picking up a Void Breach. Interesting. In addition to its original effects. Now allows Orb of Power pickup with full energy. That's a great change right there. I hated not getting Devour because I had my super. Now grants Devour on picking up a Void Breach. So you just always are going to have Devour then. There's just like no reason you don't have Devour at this point. Echo of Cessation, new. Finisher final blows create a burst of void damage that cause nearby enemies to become volatile. Defeating volatile targets creates a void breach. And then a void breach will then give you Devour. Along with class ability energy, obviously. Interesting. That's very interesting. Echo Vigilance. Defeating a target with your shields are depleted grants you a temporary void overshield. The PvP boys aren't gonna like that one. Subclass words. Keywords. Arc. Jolt. Jolt lightning damage now stuns Overload. Nice. Blind. Blinding unstoppable champs now stuns them. Queensbreaker. Smile. Solar. Radiance. While Radiant, your weapons also now pierce barrier, champion, shield, and stuns them. Notes. Weapons that already have an existing anti-champ behavior, an artifact mod, an intrinsic anti-champ mod capability, or the ability to apply another subclass's keyword that stuns the champion type, will not be granted the anti-barrier behavior from being Radiant. Okay. Same deal we have now. You just can't do 2 things at once. Ignition. Ignition damage now stuns unstoppable champions. I think that's the hardest one. Ignites are probably the hardest thing to get. Volatile round on Void. Now pierce barrier champions, just like when you're Radiant. And same deal, you can't have 2 in 1. Suppression. Suppressing overload champions now stuns them. And stasis. Slowing an overload champion now stuns them. Hopefully freezing them doesn't stop the stun. Because I think it's hard to slow and not freeze. At least you won't be able to use like abilities to slow it, I think. Not reliably. Shatter damage now stuns unstoppable champions. That's gonna be so funny. Just shatter diving hunters. That'll be really funny. Combatants. Although no stasis changes except the Duskfield nade, so maybe that's why they nerfed it, because of overloads. Anyways, combatants. Champions now correctly stun even when they're playing another animation, such as a spawn-in. This was a tricky one, so thank you for your patience. You're welcome. Thank you so much. Oh my god, champions sometimes is now consistent across. Thank you. This used to be dependent on the animation links, leading to slightly different times between combatants. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I don't understand what that has to do with fucking Minotaurs, because Minotaurs took forever to look stunned and be stunned, and then they would very quickly become unstunned. That's a great change. Holy shit. Oh my god. I cannot wait to no longer be afraid of Minotaurs. Overload Minotaurs. Also, Overload captains were also obnoxious about it, but not nearly as much as Minotaurs. Champion stun time is now consistent. Okay. Champions can now be stunned with various elemental verbs. Barriers are weak too now. Solar Radiant buff, Void Volatile, Strand Unraveling Round. Overload champions are weak to Jolt, Suppression, and Slow from Arc, Void, and Stasis, respectively. And Unstoppables are weak to Arc Blind, Solar Ignition, Solar Shatter, and Strand Suspend. These are all kind of hard to get. I'm wondering if Headstone's going to be value now for unstoppable champions. This gives you a lot of options. I'm interested to see what this is going to mean. This feels like it's giving you a lot of options. I think it's just giving you the ability to be more flexible with your builds and the subclasses you use. But I'm not convinced that people aren't just going to gravitate to the one that makes life the easiest. Because that's just what gamers do. They're just like, oh, this is the strongest, easiest thing to do. That's the one I'm picking. That one's mine. Finishers. All subclass agnostic finishers now support strand coloration when using a strand subclass. Nice. Updated the VFX for stasis finishers to fix coloration issue. Nice. Ghost Fist Bump emote now supports strand coloration. I didn't realize that was subclass specific. Power and progression. Weekly powerful rewards have been removed from the throne world, added to Neomuna. Makes sense. Seasonal updates. Engrams, energy, focusing, chests, and keys. Umbral engrams are no longer used to focus seasonal weapons and engrams and will no longer drop from the game. We're getting some stats for that one because that's amazing. Holy moly. Oh my god. Thank you. As a result, there will no longer be seasonal umbral energies. Seasonal engrams are a new type of engram. You can visit the seasonal vendor to open them, or you can spend multiple seasonal engrams to focus into specific weapons or armor. Interesting. Okay, I wonder how much multiple is. Seasonal focusing is now a separate screen and can now be accessed at the vendor by pressing the button next to the upgrades. Cool. If you focus Crucible engrams at Season 19 at Shax, you'll be familiar with the system. Seasonal engrams are stored at the vendor and do not require inventory space. There's a wallet item you can acquire by visiting the seasonal vendor. Hovering over this item in your inventory will show you how many engrams you have for each vendor. If you delete this item, you can always require it from the vendor. Owners of a season will now periodically be rewarded with a seasonal engram or seasonal key upon completing activities throughout the game. These are known as Defiant engrams and Defiant keys for the season of Defiance. Playlist versions of seasonal battlegrounds have one chest at the end of the activity. If you do not have a seasonal key when you open the chest, you will receive a seasonal weapon or armor. If you do have a seasonal key, it will be consumed and you will receive the following: Ether, a seasonal either, sorry, a seasonal weapon with deep sight resonance that you have not completed the crafting pattern for, or a high stat piece of seasonal armor, and a seasonal engram. Make sure you open the chest at the end of the activity. Whirlpool weapons and armor no longer drop at the end of playlist version of seasonal activities. Pog. Direct launch versions of seasonal battlegrounds will not have chests. Instead, award Whirlpool armor and weapons. Okay. PC platforms added support in in-game setting to toggle NVIDIA Reflex on supported PC hardware and fix minor. Oh, I need to update my NVIDIA now that I'm thinking about it. We'll do that tonight. Fix minor various. Oh, should we do it tonight? Should we just live with it? No. We should do it. We should do it. Fix various minor quality of life issues regarding controller setting menus on PC. Maybe Matt will like that one. I don't know. General collision damage is no longer lethal against Guardians. Ghost projections that change color based on your subclass now support strand coloration. Nice. Localization. Players now have access to full Mandarin audio localization across all new Lightfall content, the accompanying season, and core game mode covering Crucible, Gambit, and Strikes. Ikora for German has been recast. RIP. And that's it. That's the last thing. That's it. To be honest with you, we knew most of these. We knew most of these things. There were just numbers that we didn't know. They were very vague in the other articles they dropped, which is probably why they dropped it now. We've seen most of these. They just changed the numbers. We did get some updates that we didn't know about. But aside from that, I think we knew everything or could have assumed things were happening. I'm trying to think if there's anything we didn't know about or was like a complete and utter shock. I kind of just got, honestly, the bug fixes were kind of the biggest shock to me. I can't believe that my boy was nerfed and no one knew about it. I knew about it. I knew something was wrong. I just couldn't put my finger on it. I thought they just destroyed my boy for no reason and didn't say anything. But that's, I'm very excited to see how, I think Nilly and I's builds both rely on the old system of numbers. So it's going to be interesting to see both of our opinions of this new change, with knives taking longer and nades taking longer. So I can't remember what build Matt went with, but I don't think his was reliant on abilities. I don't know. I need to see what like the top end is because they changed the number of dodge, right? But all of these numbers were just showing us the base number. They already showed us, they told us that all the numbers for tier 10 were going to be like what they were for tier 8. So although the 34 to 20 whatever is kind of pog, tier 8 dodge is still like 20 seconds. It's like basically the same number in this new system. So I'm interested to see. It's probably going to be the very first thing I check. As if like I get in early before everyone else, or like we don't all get in at the same time, it's probably going to be the very first thing I check to see what the values are, because that's kind of gnarly. I have pretty good armor, I think, going into this, so I'll be able to just apply mods to figure it out. Oh my god, I only have a 2 mobility. Ooh, I don't know if I'll be able to boop that one up to 100 to be able to check it out. Interesting. Ooh, we'll see if I can boop that up enough to see it. I forgot to change my subclass. It's fine. My subclass is all set up. I just can't see it right now. Um, I know I think maybe I get a 20 boost from stasis. I'm gonna have to look at the mods and see if anything ups my mobility. Um, but yeah, that's all kind of pog. I'm like, we knew most of this. It's good to see a lot of things confirmed. It's nice to see a lot of numbers confirmed because for the most part, like I said, they were kind of wishy-washy about it. I think this is hilarious. The Cascade point got hella nerfed. Yeah, this is the thing I'm gonna have to look at now. I already turned it off. I already took it up. But yeah, I'm not super shocked about a lot of these. I think some of these numbers are more specific to min maxers for day one raids and stuff. But for the most of for the most part, I'm not very shocked about it all. We've seen a lot of these, so these numbers though, those threw me out. Throw that one out. I mean, it will still work. You just have to be um you just can't weaken them. Like you actually have to hit them. Actually have to hit them. I also don't care for Cascade. I didn't use Cascade Point anyways. I just you just have to be more accurate. I wouldn't say that's more work. I think you just actually have to pay attention to where you're shooting your stuff now, which is kind of the point of having a crit point. But yeah, the fucking Cascade Point, that's fucking hilarious. I'm so glad that they did that. Because I have nothing in the pool for that one, but I personally think it's hilarious. But aside from that, I am a little concerned about this Heat Rises ish change and also this Phoenix Dive change. I'll have to see how it plays out, but I am concerned about them. I think they are. I don't know why this is a thing. I don't know why they would buff Heat Rises. I just don't understand. I need to see other people's opinions on this to get their perspectives and ideas for it because I just don't understand. I don't understand. I don't understand. Everyone makes use. Here's the thing: Heat Rises is very popular because no one uses his Phoenix Dive. Everyone always has Heat Rises active. Um, like that's always what they're choosing. Heat Rises is so unbearably obnoxious to play against in PvP because that's what players use to like float outside of the map and shoot you or like get into spaces they're not supposed to be in. Um, and it was only buffed by the fact that they got a shit ton of airborne effectiveness, just like of when you have the wings on, it just makes it even better, you know? Um so I don't know. I'm really confused as to why they did this. There has to be a reason they gave you 20, like they can't have just buffed it with 20 airborne effectiveness for no reason. I don't know. Maybe it's affected differently and like one airborne effectiveness is affected by another one. Maybe it has something to do with strand. I don't know. I'm very confused as to why they did that, but I am concerned about it. I'm also concerned about Phoenix Dive, but I know no one uses it, so that's kind of the point. Um, I think this is fun. Um, yeah, I think for the most part this is fun. I'm excited. I'm very excited for Lightfall. Lightfall comes again tomorrow. And I will be live at 10:30 a.m. tomorrow. Lightfall drops at 11 a.m. tomorrow. So we'll see. We'll see when I'm prepared. I've been waking up pretty like regularly at 8 a.m. So I probably will be awake, but I'm not gonna count my my chickens before I count them. But is there anything I want to say before I go? Anything I need to say before I go? I think we're good. I think we did it all. I just wanted to read the patch notes. I have things to do. I have stuff to do. So yeah, we'll be live all day tomorrow playing some Lightfall. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm gonna be playing with Nilly and Matt. Um, there's a cool thing that I've been working on that I'm looking forward to showing my friends and also you guys on stream. And I'm also looking forward to debuting a couple of things that are specific for Lightfall that I still need to work on and apply. But aside from that, yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I'll be live all day tomorrow and all week. So if you enjoyed this stream, make sure to follow because we'll be doing a lot of Destiny coming up. And on Saturdays, you can find me over on Praxagora Thesmophorius channel at 7 p.m. standard Central Standard Time, in which we're playing a high level D&D game. I just leveled up. I'm level 17 now. And I'm playing a halfling monk who loves adventure, loves people, real happy to play and be around all these like really like cool adventures and situations. Like she's really hype about it all. Our party is kind of divided into Team Grumpy and Team Happy. You can guess which one my character's on. And it's been a very fun time just playing a character who is just like delighted to be doing, because like this is her second round. Like she's already been the adventure. She already did that. You know, she's been there, she's done that. So it's a lot of fun to for her to play a character who has like all these like unfulfilled wishes and unfulfilled just desires, because she's been, you know, kind of held down by just her position on her like area's council and having to be bureaucratic and, you know, all the stuff that like is super boring to her. And personally, like she loves people. Like don't get her wrong, she loves that she's helping her people, she loves taking care of her people, she loves enhancing and um upgrading the lives of the people she's in charge of helping. However, she had full plans of what she wanted to do before she returned back home. And she returned back home and she was hit with a bunch of responsibilities she wasn't ready for. And she's been stuck in that responsibility for decades. So she is delighted to be in a position to like hit all these, like for her, like she's hitting all these she's trying to do as many things as she can, you know, like she's on her like her last tour essentially. She does not anticipate being able to like go back and be an adventurer past this. Like this is the last hoorah for her in her mind. Whether it is or not, you know, who knows, but she's like, I need to make sure I do this. If I meet this person, you know, she's had decades to set up her bucket list. So she is delighted because she can go places and she can see things, but like, there's a thing about being political and just, you know, playing the politics game. And she doesn't like that. She finds that very boring. So it's really fun playing that character. It's a type of character I've never really played before. Very carefree. Well, not carefree. She's very jovial about what she's doing. Like she's always kind of stoked that things are happening, and that's kind of a fun character to play. Like she's still serious when she needs to be, but like she's stoked to be in a situation. But that's on that day. I don't have anything on Sundays. Yeah, aside from that, it's just Lightfall in this D&D game. That's all I'm doing. In her wild and phase. Exactly. She's wild. In her last game, so the session before this past Saturday, she was in a sparring match with War Chief Taskin Warhammer, who is this orc of great renown, and powerful beings in this world are kind of far and few between. There's not a ton of them in the world, and the people who are very like powerful, like strong, powerful, are in positions of power for the most part. You know, it's kind of where you get slotted when you get really strong all of a sudden, or like you're a strong figure, you become a figurehead somewhere, and so we ran into War Chief, or like we went to go meet him for other reasons. And so we go there, and my character was like, okay, we sat down, we did like the here we're requesting your help for the situation that we're approaching, and then it went into after that it was like, I'd be so happy to help you with this situation, once we get through it. And once they accepted and they were like, okay, awesome, cool. I was like, okay, now on a more personal level, if we could like it's like I would, if you don't mind, if you're not terribly busy like later on today or like tomorrow before we leave, if we could get like a sparring match in, like that'd be dope. That'd be really cool. But only if you like have a chance. But I would really enjoy. And the war chief was like, "Oh, absolutely. Yeah." And so there's this like super tall, like 8 foot enormous fighter orc, um, who in this world are millennia past, essentially, centuries past, where uh wizards bastardized their magic, and they use it to take over or change elves and make them into these like orc beings, to be uh their uh their strong folk, to move, to do all the heavy lifting. And because of that, a lot of orcs don't like wizard magic, and because of that, a lot of them, don't like magic. But millennia past, they've established themselves in this world now, and they have like their own customs and stuff like that. But like that, like look wise, they have the pointy ears and stuff like that. But this like huge guy, and then my little 3 foot little halfling over here, and he's warhammer, he has this giant warhammer, and I have my little teardrop meteor hammer, um and I am and it's just like agility versus strength, and like we go and he wins, whatever, I don't really care, because my character is just, again, stoked to be in the situation. She is fighting, you know a war chief Taskin, this guy Chief Taskin Warhammer. She is stoked. She like this is a place she's never really gets to visit, because there's not really a reason, politically, why she needs to come over here, aside from just like, keeping good faith with them. Because like trading's not really viable. It's way far away from where she's from. And so she's just like, oh, once in a lifetime opportunity. We're in like a place we can spar, and I really want to do it. And so they did, and it was super hype, and it was super hype, and because of that, immediately thereafter there was a party, like everyone was like, yeah, this is so cool. Looking forward, Chief Taskin. Yeah, 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 yeah. And they went and had a party afterwards, in that like same campsite, and it was a really good time. 10 out of 10, would recommend. And then last session, at the end of the session, my character decided actually, I didn't decide, it was chat. I wasn't thinking about it, but someone in chat mentioned my character, I believe they phrased it as climbing that mountain. And so I was like, oh, that sounds like a fun idea. Because in my mind, I have other people that she's like is kind of eyeing, but she would definitely not turn down the opportunity, because War Chief Taskin, um, he gets around. Let's put it that way. He lives that, he allows himself a little bit of hedonistic pleasure in life, and that is one of them. And you know what? Who is Tibian to, that's my character's name, to turn down an opportunity like that. So she approached him, and they had a good night. um and so I am delighted that my character is having fun. Meanwhile, like my wizard friend who we split the party, so it's just her and the wizard right now. Um Bandibris. And he is like super grumpy because of where we are. It's like an anti-magic country, and um he's like super grumpy because the entire area is real wicked weird. It feels terrible. Yeah, climbing mountains out here. She's, out here enjoying life. So it's like the contrast between like this really grumpy wizard who's just like her basically like Gandalf, and me being like those little like very happy hyper. And my character's not super young. My character is 40, almost 50, I think. But in halfling, you know how halflingers work. So yeah, she's young, but not like super young. She has life experience, and it is a great time. I'm very happy to just like allow this character to have fun while still having like these like through lines, like plot lines in the in the background. I'm just like, this is a thing, and just like, oh, this is a thing, but also just letting her live her life, honestly. Cause like, come on, how are you gonna like be around some of the most beautiful people in the world, and strong people, and being a monk fighter? I use unarmed fighter because my character's not a religious fighter, so I don't like using monk, but monk is a class in D&D. Being like this unarmed fighter that's also a very good fighter, um just like like wanting to do that, because that's what they do, right? Like we don't use blades. At least my character doesn't use blades. It's all about like agility and ability, and just like panache almost, of just doing all this cool fun stuff. And like, so she always wants to see an opportunity to fight people, because she always wants to see like, oh, how do you do it, like what's your fighting style, as a martial fighter? How do you do it? Like, what is your thing? And it's always a good time. It's always a good time. But yeah, so that's my game on Saturdays. If you want to find me again, that's at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time over at Praxagora Thesmophoria. Um, and it's not all just fun and games. We are going and amassing a small army of powerful beings to go fight a lich and their probable small army of failed liches and bone necromancy things. So if that's of any interest to you, make sure to stop by. And yeah, tomorrow, Lightfall. I'm so unbelievably excited. I'm excited for you guys to see what I have cooked up for y'all. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to be nice to each other. Don't forget to be compassionate. And I will see you guys all in the next one. Bye. And as always, thank you guys so much for stopping by, hanging out. You guys are the best. I love y'all. And to show my love and appreciation for those of you who have been hanging out, just having me in the background, or you just walked away AFK'd and just wanted to have me in the background to help support me, I'm going to play a 3-minute ad. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Love you guys. Bye. Oh, and make sure to preload Lightfall if you guys are planning on playing tomorrow. The preload should be up, if not now, at least a little bit later. You need a ton of room. It's 102 gigabyte download, so at least on PC. So make sure you have room on your disk drives, and have a good one, guys. Bye.